This is the Art Beauty Podcast where we tell the real truth about the fake shit. Today, my fabulous co-host is the one and only Tracey Cunningham. She is a hair colorist, but a hair colorist to the stars. She's also a brand ambassador for Olaplex. So excited to have you on. Thank you so much, Tracey.
Hi, thanks for having me.
So I know we threw you for like a little bit of a loop this morning. Thank you for putting it together. FYI, when she signed on, she was in pajamas.
I was in my pajamas. Well, I was also in my Chrissy Teigen robe.
Can I just tell you though, I was like, you were like, oh my gosh, I need to go put on a dress. I wish I looked that good when I rolled out of bed. So does my husband. I don't look anything like this. I guess having, being a true celebrity hair colorist helps.
Well, first of all, I was really embarrassed.
Why? No.
I showed up in my pajamas, but I figure most people on their Zooms, if they got up, they'd probably be in their sweatpants and then a nice top. Right?
Case in point. I mean, did you even do a Zoom?
The whole thing on.
I'm wearing spandex. Did you even do a Zoom if you weren't in your pajama bottoms or something that expands? No.
Right.
I love this new way of working. I mean, I can't even say it's new now. It's been over a year, but you must do a lot of virtual stuff. How do you feel about it?
I do a lot of virtual stuff and I don't mind it. It's a bit strange when you don't have right away feedback, but like say you're doing a show, you want feedback. But other than that, it's fine. It's fun. It's, less airplanes.
Right. So I have a question for you because I talked to a lot of women and like during the pandemic, I know there was a couple months where I'm here in New York where nothing was open.
Right.
My best friend is a stylist and colorist. And I was kind of like, come over. So is my neighbor. And my neighbor was like, if you need anything, let me know and I can do this. I mean, but were you getting calls from like everyone?
Funny enough, no, I wasn't.
Really?
I mean, I was getting calls from my regular clientele, but my celebrity clientele, nothing. Just, hey, how are you? No, I'm panicked. I need you to come over. None of that.
Can we brag a little bit about you right now? I'm so honored to have you on. I mean, you have really done some of the biggest names in the business. J-Lo, you were responsible for Khloe Kardashian's beautiful transformation to blonde. When I saw that, I was just like, oh my God, that is like the hair that like, it was princess hair. Lily Aldridge, who I've met and she is just like such a gem. But like, how is it to be like working with all of these very, very famous people?
Well, it's a really fun job.
Mm-hmm.
But one fun fact about Khloe Kardashian is she is the lighter sister. She was born blonde.
Right.
So when you see my book, True Color, you're going to see photos of Khloe as a young girl. And you'll in one photo, her hair is back and she has these little blonde hairs all around her face. And and she's next to her sisters and they both have dark hair and she's a little blondie.
Right. Yeah.
So it's funny. Like I should be telling you how fabulous I am, but really, truly, I'm just telling you that she really is a natural dark blonde, naturally. And it wasn't that difficult.
To kind of like bump her up a little bit.
Right.
So,
it's easier. It was easier than say making somebody with level 5, 4, 3, very dark hair to a blonde like that.
So my best friend is also a colorist and wonderful. And I always told him, like, when my life goes to shit, I'm going to call you. We're going to go Russian red. You're going to cut it into a bob. And that's when like, oh, major shit has hit the fan in my life. And he's like, all
Right,
right, girl,
right.
I gotcha. We're ready for that. I'm standing by. I'm standing by.
Yes,
I want to talk about this. So your book comes out today, True
yes.
Color. Congratulations.
Thank you.
I have to say, so I've worked in this business, I mean, over 2 decades, and so I'm heard your name throughout the years, clearly. But I was reading the forward to your book, and I had no idea. I hope, is it okay if I share this? Well, I guess
Sure.
it's gonna be out there. Bette Midler, who I mean, I grew up on beaches. I didn't realize that she sort of helped you get your start into this field. If I'm paraphrasing a little from what I remember, you went to work with her and her family
Yep.
as a nanny.
Mhm.
I think I read that she said you couldn't cook at all, so she sent you to cooking school.
Yes.
And then fast forward, you had sort of moved up and become sort of a family household manager and helping her. And at some point said, I feel like I'm lost. And she sent you to beauty school.
Yes. I mean, that's well, first of all, I could cook a little bit,
I can't
little
cook.
bit. But no, it's so funny. I really didn't know how to cook that well. But I, she was working on a movie for the boys, and I instead of us going out to dinner every night, I thought, okay, I just want to try to cook dinner. So, after the movie, after she films, we could just come home and have dinner. And I think that we sat around the table a few times and they were thinking, oh my gosh, how do we tell her she's a terrible cook?
Story of my life. But you
So,
were like 19 at the time?
yeah,
I
yeah.
mean,
No, but it was great. And you know what? I was working at PMK, the PR firm,
yeah,
answering phones
yeah,
before I went to work with Bet.
amazing.
And yeah, it was
You know what I loved about the story
miserable.
too? I feel like now y- we're so focused on women, and women these days are so about helping women. But I loved hearing that Bet, who was, such a superstar in such a unique way at that time, was really all about helping to empower you. That really was it just kind of it was very touching to me to know and to hear that. I love hearing when, we got to
Well,
help each other out.
that is a great role model. And while I was working with her for many years, I've seen her help so many people. It
Yeah.
wasn't just me. She helped so many people. It's pretty amazing. She sent so many people to college and yeah,
I
she's
love
she's
that.
just absolutely amazing.
I'm telling
And
you,
when she
beaches.
does it, she's like, take it as far as you want, get your master's, do whatever. She's just incredible.
I mean, like I said, I grew up on beaches and I actually sung Wind Beneath My Wings at my sister's wedding. I was so inspired by her because um, I was such an awkward child. I was, rounder than I was tall. And I felt like when you would look on TV, there was nobody um, who wasn't, a size zero model at the time. And I feel like she came onto the scene and was so powerful and such a great actress. And that voice was just, and it was like, finally, like we've got somebody who is so stunning, but isn't fitting this typical, what I consider to be like the Hollywood mold at the time. She really, I
Mhm.
thought, kind of broke
Mhm.
through, and I will always love her for that.
Yes, she's
So,
amazing.
getting back to your hair now, right? So, your expertise. I had actually heard about Olaplex. God, I mean, probably like 10 or 15 years ago. Maybe I'm a little off in the time. No, how
Yeah,
long? How old? 10
like
years ago?
6, 7 years ago. My
7
brain
years
isn't
ago?
working,
Mine
but
isn't either, because I was getting my hair blown out at the time, which I never mind. Anyway, I had seen it listed as one of the services when you got a color. But can you talk to me a little bit about, and since then now I know I've got them here. They've got 8 products in total. Well, actually 9. 2 of them are professional only. Like, what is Olaplex? What made this so unique in terms of like getting color and not damaging your hair?
okay. So, what makes Olaplex unique is I've been in the hair business for so long and there's never anything new.
Right.
And it Olaplex created a brand new category
Okay.
and it's so unbelievable that nobody had ever thought of it before. The Dean Crystal went to the most fabulous scientist, inventor, and said, I need a product to make hair. So, okay, sorry, back up. So when you perm your hair, remember how perms used to be so hot?
I mean, hello, I did it. It
Okay.
was not a good look for me, but I
Okay.
definitely
Yes.
90s. Yeah.
Perms were so hot. I mean,
So hot.
people that didn't want to wear their hair curly would get a perm just for body,
Oh, I
right?
mean, I did the spiral, and then do you remember it was an Aussie scrunch spray
Of
and the whole
course, of course. Okay.
life.
So
Yes.
so Dean was thinking, I want to bring back the perm, but how do I do it? Because now everybody has highlights.
And it
Okay.
would just destroy the hair.
If you bleach and perm do not work together.
You're having a chemical
If you
haircut.
have highlighted your hair, you are not a candidate for perming. Your
Gotcha.
hair will melt off.
Oh,
There's just no way around it. So Dean was like, okay, could you make me a product where it would protect your hair and you could perm the hair and have highlights? And he said that he could do it. Craig Hawker. He
okay.
said, you know what? There's something that I've been thinking about since, oddly enough, since he was like 15 years old, how to protect the hair, how to rebond the hair. And he said, why don't you come back tomorrow? I'll make some tonight and you can just come pick it up tomorrow. I mean, we're dealing with the greatest minds of this century. Okay.
I would like to call
So,
him up because I've got some hair things I'd like to deal to.
right. So, so true to his word, Craig Hawker
Yeah.
calls Dean up the next day and says, okay, I have the product. And he went to his garage that night, and he had his assistant with him, and they cooked it up, and he handed it to Dean the next day, and he said, here you go. And he said, but did you test it out on anyone? And he said, no, but it'll work.
And then,
So
I'm getting stuck on the
wait,
garage thing. I feel like I wonder, I never grew up with a garage. Maybe that's why I never invented anything. Because you always hear it's like the best inventions. I mean,
oh well, you have
Apple,
to have a
right?
garage
You have
to
to have a
invent things.
garage. You have
Oh
to be
yeah, yeah,
there.
yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
You have to. You
All
have
right.
to.
Now I understand. Oh, all
Right.
right. No
Yes. That's
garage, no famous.
just fucked your whole life up.
Yes,
Okay.
totally.
So, okay.
So they're in the
So,
garage mixing it
so
up. They haven't tested it on anybody.
totally. So, okay. So now they find a guy who is really good at perms.
Okay.
So they find a guy in Philadelphia that does perms only. And somebody said, it's working so well, but why don't you use it in color? So, and the perm guy's name is Joe Santee, by the way. So Joe says to Dean, why don't you find a hair colorist to try it out in color? And then he found me. He started probably Googling or whatever. And he contacted me, asked me to dinner, and we met. And I kept thinking, because I am the color ambassador to Redken.
Right.
And I kept saying, well, I don't know if I can help you because I already have a contract. And he said, yeah, but this is something completely different. Nobody has this. And we don't ever want to make color or anything like that. We just want to help other people. We want to be blood to the color
Right.
industry.
We love that.
So
Yeah.
that made such sense to me. Right. So I tried it the next day, and it was unbelievable because the day before I had tried to bleach out this girl's hair, who she was blonde. She flew to New York to do a TV show. They put red dye all over her hair. Now, remember, when you are bleaching people's hair that have already been bleached, it's a disaster.
Right.
So I wasn't able to get her hair white again, obviously, but I was able to get it lighter, and her hair was intact. And the day
Right.
before, it was breaking off before my eyes.
Oh.
So I used it on everyone that day. And I called him that night and I said, look, I just want to tell you that this is probably the best invention I've ever tried. And I feel like you've given me superpowers. All hair colorists now are going to have superpowers.
Right.
And this is amazing.
So
So,
so let's so I've seen the pictures, right, where the hair shaft looks very jagged and then you see it with the Olaplex on it and it's now nice and smooth. Um how, what exactly is it doing? Right? It's restructuring the bond, but how is that different than, let's say, like a keratin treatment?
okay. So, okay, just so you know, if you do not color your hair, Olaplex is great for you also
Okay.
because everything breaks your bonds. When
Right.
you brush your hair, the bonds split apart and then they come back together. It's like a disruption.
Right.
It's like whoop, whoop. And then when you color the hair, you have to be able to break the bonds, right? So when you like in order to change and transform your hair, the bonds have to be broken and they will remain broken. So they need to sort of come back a little and they can't do it without Olaplex.
Got
It's
it.
just one ingredient that just brings them back.
Okay.
So the photo is, I mean, there's so many photos of different conditioners that help the hair, but it's not rebonding it.
Got
The
it. It's not like
shaft, I believe,
sealing
is
it back
different.
together.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah. So there's so many products that make your hair feel slick and you think that your hair is being mended, but it's not.
So, but is it similar? And I'm asking. I don't know. But like I have keratin done, right?
Mhm.
Which is also I thought sort of smoothing the hair shaft. So is it similar to
No.
that? No.
So when you do the keratin treatment, I believe it's like a perm, but in a different way. The keratin has formaldehyde in it, which
Right.
I mean, listen, I'm not a scientist, and I talk
Right.
about that in the book because people ask me for so much advice, and I'm always like, hey,
Yeah.
girl, I went to school for 1,600 hours. I did not get my medical degree.
Right.
I don't know how to help you with your psoriasis, but you
Right.
know,
But if you want to go, if you want the best ombre ever in your life,
exactly.
come
But I
knock on my door.
always send them
Okay,
to
fair.
doctors.
That's fair. That's fair.
Yeah.
So
So I mean, listen, I can tell you everything that you want to hear about
right.
Olaplex, but I'm telling you to try it and use it right. It's
It's the best.
unbelievable.
So
Have you tried it?
I have used from Sephora, I've used the number 3, the which is like the leave-in, the number 4 and the number 5, which is the shampoo and conditioner.
Right.
But
Now,
they
how
just
do you use the number 3? I'm just
so the number 3, I
trick
put it
question.
in because my husband has seen me do this and he's like,
Okay.
okay, I know what's happening here." So I literally like saturate my hair with it
Mm-hmm.
when it's dry. I kind of throw it back into a little clip so it's not,
Yes.
and then I sit for like 10, honestly, like a half hour. It says like 10 to
Okay.
20 minutes, but I sit for a half hour, maybe even an hour.
Yeah. The
Then
longer the better. The longer
the
the better.
longer the better.
Yes,
Um,
always.
then I get in the shower and rinse it out with the 4 and then follow with the 5
Yeah.
conditioner.
You
Am I
shampoo
doing it
with the
right?
4, condition with the 5. Yes.
Oh,
Yes.
dear Lord. Okay, good.
Okay. And do you notice a difference?
Yes, I do. And like I said, I keratin my hair uh, once or twice a year. I think it's a formaldehyde free formula though, because I know that was a big deal. But anyway, but yeah, I do it in the summer. And then yes, I feel like this in between is like the best thing ever. And also the shampoo and conditioner are just great. So if you have keratin treated hair, it's very friendly to any of those sort of treatments. And I love the smell. It's like a
Yes.
citrusy bourgeois. But I know that they have a not like I didn't know zero. It's funny because when I got this package, I think it was like yesterday, I was like, "Oh, is this the professional one?" I called my friend Ryan and I'm like, "Can I even do this in my hair?" And he was like, "Oh no, baby, they wouldn't send you that," which they didn't. It's the zero. So this is the at-home version of the
It
professional.
right. It's extra strength Olaplex. And I just want to say for people who have blonde hair, blonde highlights, that when they put the Olaplex treatment on their hair, make sure that you start at the root, because you want to make sure that you're getting the Olaplex treatment on your highlights. Because a lot of the
Mm,
times people will, kind of start at the bottom, and I want to make sure that they're getting everywhere. And especially like if you have curly hair, wavy hair, you want to get it around your hairline and your face, because it just helps with everything.
amazing. What
Just
about for women with gray hair? I feel like gray hair is a lot of people, my mother included, took the past year and were like, that's it. Please don't hate me because you're a colorist. But she was like, she's in her late 70s and or mid 70s. And she's like, I'm done with this. But gray hair tends to be a lot coarser. Is
it
this a
does.
good smoothing sort of?
It is the best product for coarse gray hair. It is
Okay.
so wonderful. It's like a facelift for your hair. I can't explain it. It's so good. It makes it more manageable. It's just unbelievable. And a lot of people are doing the gray train. I love it.
Yeah.
I absolutely.
Well,
I made a silver chapter in my book.
and as a colorist, because, m- look, if the world hadn't shut down for a year, my mom was going to have to go into her colorist and do it the right way. But the world kind of shut down and she's like, all right, I'm just going to do the old fashioned way and let it grow out. And then her colors kind of went in and did some low lights to help it look nice. And there is a right way to go gray, which I guess you mention and talk about in your book.
Hmm.
Thank you. Um, I like all these other, like, here's the other thing I thought about Olaplex. Um, it's interesting because it doesn't feel like my hair when I used it was like coated. Like sometimes you
No.
use something and it's like, oh, this feels like now thick. But I haven't
Mhm.
used any of these other like the cream or is this new, the moisture mask?
Yes, the number 8. Okay, so the number 8 is our intense moisture mask. Now, I just want to tell you, we do deal with a lot of women who will not condition their hair properly because they want volume.
So not at the top.
No, they will not. They don't want to condition their hair. They won't do the treatments on their hair. And they come back to me, and I'm like, girl, why haven't you been doing your treatments? Oh, I just hate it when it weighs it down. My style doesn't stay. And so our fabulous chemist at Olaplex came up with a deep, intense moisture that goes into the hair and it absorbs it. And it doesn't stay on the outside and coat the hair. It's pretty genius. You do have to keep it on for a minimum of 10 minutes to see
Right.
the benefits, but your hair will have more shine and more moisture. And it's just incredible. But you have to leave it on. Like a
So
girl like me keeps it on for quite a while during the day.
right? Like, I mean, you know what I think too? It's like we're all into like Sunday self-care or like whatever day maybe you clean your house. That's when I do it, right? When I was doing the number three. Now, the number one, I don't want to confuse people. The number one you also put on dry hair. Oh,
You put it on dry hair. Okay, so a good trick, because it is a liquid, a good trick with the number 0 is,
zero. Sorry. Yeah.
okay, so I put my hair up in a little bun, and just to be able, I just sort of squeeze it in the bun, and then I take it down and I make sure that it's, all mushed
Good.
around. I sort of get it everywhere. I even put number 5 all over my hair afterwards, or number 3. Just I like to mix it up a little bit.
All the conditioning. So 0 and 3 you put in dry hair. So my own
Mhm.
personal tip, tell me if I'm wrong, but like on your self-care Sundays, or if there's a day you're doing chores in the house, like take that time because you put it in dry. So it's not even like you have to wet your hair beforehand. Put it all in,
Right.
get it all in, throw it up in a bun and leave it in for a couple hours
Yes. Now the trick is, when you want to do the mask, you have to hop out of the shower, or you have to do it, in a bath.
with damp.
But
Yeah.
I mean, I just hop out of the shower and do my thing, hop back in an hour later and rinse it out.
And you're telling people that they should use this from roots to ends, not from like here to ends. from like
This one, I'm
scalp
not
to
so
end.
you can, and I'm not so worried about it. But the number 3 and the number 0, you're rebonding your hair, you're strengthening. So all Olaplex number 3 and number 0 do, they strengthen your hair.
Okay.
The number 4 is going to shampoo your hair. It's
Right.
probably the most expensive shampoo that is out there. I'm telling you right now, but we don't charge you a lot. But
Oh, I was
we
like, yeah, I was
paid,
like, oh wait, it's not that expensive. Yeah, gotcha.
no,
Okay,
it's
got
not
it. The
expensive.
ingredients.
It's not expensive, but Olaplex spent a lot of money on the formulation,
Understood. Well, and
where
partly because
most
of the
people
success
don't
of
spend
like,
a lot of money on their formulations for shampoo. It's all about cost and how we make more money and the stuff like that. That's never been Olaplex's game.
right. So the business of beauty, they are actually saying, okay, we know
Mhm.
we got
And
this.
yes, and
We're cutting you a deal.
yes, and we were never going to make shampoo and conditioner. We were just going to be a professional product. But then everybody started copying us, and we decided, and then we were like, okay, well, let's go ahead and start making products.
Well, and you know what? It's good too because like I said, I haven't tried the professional in the salon. Partially because I haven't colored my hair
But I'm sure
in
your
a gazillion
colorist
years.
uses. You color your
Yeah,
hair?
yeah, he just hasn't colored my hair in forever. Um, and yes, he does. We've talked about it on the podcast. He loves
Do you do a
Olaplex.
base?
No, I don't do anything anymore.
Oh, that's good. You have great hair. But when listen, so when I do a base color on
I
on
got
my
some grays,
client,
but I just feel like
I get it. I'm the same way. So, but when I do a base on my client's hair, I
yeah.
always saturate their hair with number 2, which is the professional Olaplex, which would be your number 3. And and if I don't do it on my clients are like, wait a second, where's my number? Where's my Olaplex treatment? Because it makes such a
So
difference.
so how often the professional version in salon, is there like a ballpark pricing for that? I know that it's different everywhere, but like what are we looking at to add ballpark?
Okay, if truth be told, because it's my thing, that I always use Olaplex. I don't charge extra for it,
It's just part
but
of right.
it's just part of my whole
Yeah.
world. But people do charge for it. Different salons do charge for it, but I just the advice I give to people is price your service outright, because do you really want your client saying, no, I can't afford Olaplex today? I
Right.
mean, there is no way
Right.
I'm not using Olaplex on one of my clients. There's just no way.
Right.
There's
Makes
no way.
sense.
One time I flew to New York and I was getting ready, mixing up my highlights on my client, big supermodel. And I was like, where's the Olaplex, to my assistant? She's like, wait, it's not in there. I'm like, you're lying. You did not forget the Olaplex. I was shitting my pants. I'm like, I can't highlight without it. It was horrible. She goes, well, we have the number 2. We can just do a treatment on her afterwards.
Oh.
But it was really scary for
Because
me
they mix
after.
in two. Wait, what is it? One goes in with the formula, and two is the
Yeah,
after like treatment. Got it.
that's the thing. You put the one inside your bleach, your hair lightener, and it's a protector.
Got it. Got it. Got
Mhm.
it. Got it.
Yeah.
So clearly you're like, colorist to the stars, and I'm sorry to put it that way, but you are. You're responsible for some of the most bourgeois heads of hair in the world, and you're saying this is like something I wouldn't live without. I would not color without. Um,
Ever. Ever. And I wouldn't use a fake one.
no, no, and this is now at Sephora, so it's nice too. I do have so like before I let you go, what are you seeing now in terms? I feel like ombre was such like a big thing in the color world. Like what? I feel like I've been living in this room for a year. What's going on out in the world of like fabulosity and great hair?
Um, I feel like people are wanting to be blonder. And I don't think ombre is ever going to go away because it's a natural way to make a brunette lighter without changing their identity of being a brunette. Um, I'm seeing a lot of redheads. A lot of people want to be redheads. Um, let's see. But let's just lighter. People want to brighten up. They want to get out. They want their life back, you know?
I mean, I just went and had my hair cut for the first time in like a year. It needed it.
Mhm.
But I asked the guy, I'm like, should I do some like highlights? And he was like, no, I really like your color hair. But I was like,
Okay, if somebody says that to you, just remember, this is how they make a living, and if they're giving you that advice, they're telling you the truth.
that's what I thought because I was like, he's not saying, "Oh no, you need this." So I was like, you know
Right.
what, I'm going to take that as a. But I do, and you know what, my husband likes me brunette. I kind of like it. There's
I love
no,
a brunette.
but I do, like a good colored, Well, it's why I love to like go on your Instagram and just go through and look at all of the gorgeous, gorgeous hair transformations you have. I mean, it is an art, and it is incredible. And thank you. So this book comes out today. Where can people get True Color by Tracey Cunningham?
Everywhere.
Where can people get
Everywhere.
this? Everywhere.
Yes. But I also want to say it's not just for hair colorists. It's for
Right.
everybody.
Yeah.
It has a little bit for everyone in it. For customers, for just something to look at. It's a really fun book. It's
Amazing.
not a lot to read, but it does have some stories in it and advice. And we met with a lot of great doctors, Dr. Barbara Sturm, Dr. Lancer, Dr. Lars, we met with so many people just to help answer the questions that people ask their hairdressers in their chairs that
Right.
we're not qualified to ask.
I mean, well, you are basically like almost like a certified therapist in
Yeah.
addition to be, yeah, yeah.
I don't know if people should be taking my advice, but yes.
Well, it seems like you've done so well for yourself. Tracy, thank you so much for being on with us today. Really
Thank
appreciate that.
you. I'm sorry I showed up in my pajamas.
I loved it, but that's what I love about this podcast is like we just keep it real. And then you're like, just give me a minute. And I mean, you are so stunningly beautiful. I wish I could look like that. My husband does
Uh,
too when I wake up. Trust me.
you're so funny.
This is a village that goes on right here. Tracy, thank you so much. So people, your book, True Color by Tracey Cunningham, out today. Today,
Mhm.
also for you Star Wars fans out there, happy Star Wars Day. May the 4th be with you.
Oh, I like that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Mhm.
And Tracy, if people want to know more about Olaplex, like where should they go for information?
Olaplex.com,
Okay.
Sephora. It's all over the world.
Got it. And where can people stalk you? Instagram?
Instagram.
Instagram. I mean, go on. It's like you could just get lost in an Instagram hole. Thank you so much. Thank you to your sweetest husband who helped us get this set up technically. Got a
Thank you.
shout out to those people who support us. And of course, if you have any questions you want me to pass on to Tracy or her team about Olaplex or hair color, always happy to do so. You can email me at hello@artbeautypodcast. You can find us on Facebook, Instagram. And what she's saying is go get number 8, which is, I know I certainly have seen it in Sephora and on Olaplex.com. You can find us on Facebook, Instagram at Art Beauty Podcast. And as always, we will see you next Tuesday. Bye.
Thank you. Bye.